Hello, everybody. Thank you all for joining. Thank you, Mr. Hammer. Thank you to D&D Tesla and K8 and the mods in the chat. Huge rebound yesterday after the first down day since January 25th. What's going on? We'll dig into it. Also, some history from Satoshi and how a $3,500 donation saved the world. And tons of charts about how this time is different. So let's jump in. Day 29. Trading day 29 of the ETFs. Let's see what's going on. And these videos are designed to be quick and dirty, rough and ready, but you guys like them. Pure Bitcoin content, and every single video packs a punch. And a shout out to Patreon as well that make all this possible. New Patreon sub, love the channel. Thank you, Zio. Thank you for coming. Let's go. The updated playlist as well. Each one is stacked full of information. And there are a ton of videos in there as well for people who need to catch up or just want to subscribe just to Bitcoin content, because there's many of you out there that do that. In addition, we now have 53 days to go. Soon, like Monday or Tuesday, it's going to be like under 50 days. That's going to go fast. Let's talk about the inflow so far. We had a $250 million day yesterday. Not bad. What a rebound. And we'll break that down in great detail through all our charts towards the end of the show. But there's a lot of breaking news to cover first. First of all, fees. A lot of people are asking me all the time, what's the best ETF? I always say, I think Fidelity is solid because they have both low fees and they are crypto native. They've been mining Bitcoin for a decade. They understand Bitcoin better than any of these Wall Street shops. But also, BlackRock is the biggest and kind of has the lowest fees. But this is a great little chart from Econometrics. And 1 month after the launch, you can see here very clearly that there is one big loser and two big winners. And there's a direct correlation between high fees and low fees. That's all you need to know. BlackRock and Fidelity are taking the lion's share of the inflows, while Grayscale is bleeding funds. Nearly a third is gone in just 29 trading days. Now, low fees win the day, and Grayscale, the clear outlier. I think BlackRock and Fidelity have 25 basis points. And if you look as well, you see BRR and BitCo, they are left out in the cold as well because their fees are higher. So the moral of the story is, these money makers can make money on the spreads. They don't actually need fees. They need assets to pull them in. So let's talk about other news too. Everybody's confused. What's going on with retail? It's nowhere to be seen. Well, if you look at Google Trends, yes, it's true. And we know it's a whale game, and the whales tend to be in the bull market early. But a lot of questions. Why? Retail doesn't seem to be there, at least on Coinbase. Or is there a different answer? Well, first of all, I think Coinbase may be cannibalized a little bit by the ETFs, because who's going to buy Bitcoin at high fees when you can buy it at low fees in an ETF format as well? And there's more. So I've been talking a long time about how the fact that I was pretty sure, because I was confused by the on-chain metrics. Why are people, long-term holders, selling their bags? Are they selling to get away from self-custody and moving to ETFs? And the answer is, to the dismay of the Bitcoin maxis, yes. And Econometrics just backed up my theory as well in this report. And here it proves my point. The ETFs are siphoning away the coins from the smaller addresses, the smaller long-term holder addresses, and the whales are sucking it up. And this is the cohort of controlling 1,000 to 10,000 Bitcoin. They are accumulating coins with or without the small fish. And Bitcoin's price is rising significantly. And this is a blend of, if you look at the colors here, orange and red points you see on the chart, it tends to accompany those big price moves. And well, we could have another one of those events playing out in front of our eyes. You know, whales move first, but these ETFs are definitely siphoning off coins towards the whales. And a big chunk of those coins are coming from the addresses of the smaller fish, and they are probably going into the ETFs. There we go. No surprise there. In addition, miners, we look a lot at the miners here. Miners continue selling all they have, constant. Basically, everything they mine, they are ditching to buy modern rigs to be effective and efficient and as they possibly can, because it's going to be tough unless, as I said, unless the Bitcoin price gets to 70K, many miners are going to be suffering. Many. And it was, well, some good news as well. I covered yesterday that the hash rate did come down about 5% or so, which give them a little bit of a breather. But the reason the hash rate's coming down is because the miners are unplugging inefficient rigs. That is how this whole beautiful protocol works. It's a self-correcting mechanism. Fantastic news. In addition, in this time is different news. Everything since the beginning of 2023 has been different. It is very different. Let's check another one here to show you this. This is how miners normally stack in bull markets. Okay, if you go back to 2019, 2020, and you can see gold is the miner balance of Bitcoin, and black is the Bitcoin price. You can see the miners increased their bags all the way up as prices went up. Now this time, prices going up, but the miners are dumping. So look at the two green arrows on the left and the in sync between how miners held through the bull. Now in the bull, price is going up and miners are selling everything they can because they know it's going to be brutal. Absolutely brutal. The rewards cut in half. And there's more competition than ever before for Bitcoin mining. As I mentioned as well in a video, I think on 𝗥𝗘𝗔𝗞𝗜𝗚 on Tuesday, it was how the Bitcoin price is the same as 2021 or 2021, but the hash rate has tripled. Think about that. Crazy. In addition, in more, this time is different news. Fear and Greed Index. This is from Macro Micro. Love their stuff. They have a correlation here of the actual Fear and Greed Index in blue and the Bitcoin price in gold. And you can see here normally, the big takeaway from this is normally fear and greed lags the Bitcoin price a little bit, but we are getting greedy far earlier. And again, I just think maybe being too greedy too early is a bad thing, too optimistic, or maybe this time is different as well. We shall see. In addition, this is a very cool piece of history here. This is from 𝗥𝗘𝗔𝗞𝗜𝗚, and in July 2010, Satoshi and Marty received a donation of $3,500 to support Bitcoin development. It was critical at the time. This is kind of my little caption there of how one small donation saved the world. Sometimes a little bit matters. And Satoshi said it might be a long time before we get another donation like that, so we should save a lot of it. Incredible. Again, whoever gave that $3,500 donation made a huge difference to the world today, and we are very grateful for that. In addition, Satoshi did not coin the phrase cryptocurrency. This is another piece of history. There's a whole lore of emails and stuff that's just been released. I'm not sure exactly why it came to light, probably because this fake guy, Craig Wright, pretending to be Satoshi. Obviously, the way Craig Wright dresses and acts and everything else has every earmark of what Satoshi would not be. So it's pretty clear from his mannerisms, etc. But Satoshi is a very special person. But in his humility here, it talks about the fact that somebody donated the phrase. Let me try to read it carefully because it is an important piece of history. Someone came up with the word cryptocurrency. Maybe it's a word we should use when describing Bitcoin. Do you like it? So this is... They had the name Bitcoin, of course, before this, but I thought that was extremely interesting piece of history. There's a ton more to go through. There's like, I think, 200,000 pages of emails or something massive, but these are just little snippets that are very interesting. In addition, Square, now called Block, they banked $207 million in earnings on Bitcoin holdings. So well done to them. Bitcoin is making money for fintech companies, and this from Bitcoin Archive as well. So shout out to Jack Dorsey. I know companies like PayPal and Square have been heavily beaten down, but maybe with the bull run, they'll bounce as well. We shall see. In addition, in corrupt politician news, there is a war on. This is from Boston.com. I think it's the Boston Journal, Boston newspaper, etc. But it was a cool little survey that Senator Elizabeth Warren, she's known for her focus on kind of being close to banks, etc. She won the Senate races in 2012 and 2018 and actually made a presidential bid in 2019. But Warren has been actively opposed to Crypto, she has been proposing legislation to kill crypto in the United States, and she is aligned with Gary Gensler, and we all know how that went. And they believe that crypto has a huge role in illegal activities, and they want it gone. But somehow she made $70 million in the last decade or so, and I'm not sure how that happened either. But John Deaton is a former Marine and a crypto lawyer. He is challenging Warren in the Senate race, focusing on things that are very important: income inequality, inflation, housing costs, and also veteran services and the debt crisis. So let's go Marines. It's a question of Massachusetts. Are they about freedom, or do they prefer corrupt politicians? We shall see where this all goes, but the survey was interesting. I think about over 500 people responded, and 39% said no, she's entrenched in the party, she's safe, no, untouchable, but 57% said she is vulnerable, which is not bad. Let's hope she is vulnerable. Back to money supply. This is, again, from Macro, and thank you, Sanjay, as well, for sharing this morning. Since the 2008 financial crisis, everybody's been looking at empty money supply and how it weaves with what's happening in the world. Basically, this global money supply is the Fed, which is US, European Central Bank, Bank of Japan, People's Bank of China. And it has consistently shown a beautiful positive correlation with Bitcoin price. When M2 goes up, Bitcoin goes up. It's that simple, ladies and gentlemen. And the good news is, so far in 2024, global M2 is going up. Global liquidity has been down a little bit, but M2 is going up. So this could also help, and we have a long way to go on both M2 money supply and liquidity growing up as well. Now let's get down to the nitty gritty of the ETFs. 5.3 billion now is in these ETFs. We did have that red day. That's the first red day where there's a net deficit since January 25th. But it rebounded with $250 million yesterday. Woohoo! Nice work. Let's break it down. These are the raw numbers, and you can see the big rebound again. Sometimes things can have an off day. There was a lot of grayscale dumpage, but it came back pretty fast. Now the ETFs are back, and you can see here there's a couple of good things happened on this chart. One is BlackRock and Fidelity. The BlackRock is red, Fidelity is blue. They popped very nicely, almost in unison. And the dumpage from grayscale was kind of low, one of the lowest days we've ever seen, which is a big help things as well. We also had the 11th best money flow day from 29 trading days, which is not bad at all too. Again, that $250 million net coming in. In addition, total money flow rises again. Yesterday I did talk about the first time we'd flattened. The day before it looked like we were going to flatten, and we did, but then we rebounded again, and we continue to do so. In addition, there's now $12.75 billion worth of Bitcoin in the new ETFs in just 29 days. You can do the math there. That's nearly $500 million a day, and that is substantial. Very substantial, making it one of the most successful ETFs in the history of the world, and it keeps on growing. And to look at this in terms of Bitcoin, they now hold 285,000 Bitcoin. That's nearly 100,000 more than Michael Saylor has, and they're growing very, very fast. Now, wouldn't it be nice to see how many they're adding a day in terms of Bitcoin? Well, we have that too. Here, you can see these new funds added 4,900 net of grayscale dumpage yesterday. 5,000 Bitcoin pulled from the system into the ETFs. And I know a lot of people are very concerned. Oh, it's not good for these traditional Wall Street firms to have all this Bitcoin. They'll corner the market and control the market and kill Bitcoin. No, because I believe the ETFs will make a lot of money from it, from them, from ETFs, etc. Let's look at two charts real quick, and then I'll let you go when we get back to working on the second video for today. And yesterday, sorry, I did misspeak. I said 42,000 instead of 52,000. Yesterday, I tried something disastrous, which is cutting out coffee. I don't know, my brain needs coffee, so I'm back on the coffee. Don't worry about that. But zooming out, our destination is clear of where we are going. This is a chart going back to 2020, and the trend is still up and to the right. If you zoom in actually very carefully, you can see the little blip we've had there from 53K down to 51,000. And that's a $2,000 blip. But again, trend is still there. People hoping that we get back to 30,000, etc. No, and if we go back to 2020, it's up 800%. This is what people need to understand. Just, if in doubt, zoom out, as they say. this tells you everything you need to know and where we're going. In terms of the top and bottom indicator as well, we are still lime green, which is a time to stack. And what this chart does, it tells you when basically Bitcoin is very, very oversold or overbought. When you get to dark blue, that's a killer time to buy. Don't be afraid. That's when you run in and you get everything you can. Then it goes to light blue. Then it goes to super light blue, and then, or maybe teal. And then we're in that lime green again. And remember, this is a function of over 20 different inputs to tell us when we are overheated or not. And we are tweaking them as well, because this time is different from an on-chain metrics point of view. But the point is, we still have a long way to go. And by the way, fear and greed is not included in part of this too. Thank you so much for coming, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you're just interested in Bitcoin-only content, you can subscribe to that playlist as well, which will be here too. Thank you, everybody. Thank you to the mods in the chat, and I'll see you all later. Have a good day.